Okay, in this video, we're going to go over how to calculate the y-intercepts and x-intercepts uh, for a function. So in this example, our function is going to be 2x squared minus 12x minus 9. So first we want to enter it into our graphing calculator by pressing the y equals button. And now we type in our function, so 2x squared minus 12x minus 9. Okay, so here's our function, and before we try to calculate anything, it's a good idea to graph the function to try to visualize what it looks like. So I press the graph here and so you can see because we have a quadratic function, the shape is a parabola, but because the viewing window is not big enough, we cannot see the vertex here. However, we do see the two x-intercepts and also the y-intercept. So this viewing window is good enough for our purposes here. But if you wanted to change the viewing window, right, so I need to make the y values a little bit lower to go down a little bit. Right, so you can change the y minimum, so say negative 30. And now I can see my entire parabola here with the vertex at this point here. And our other 3 points are still visible, so we're okay. Okay, so first let's calculate the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is when x is equal to 0, and we're looking for the y value. So the way to do that is to go into the calc menu. Right, so you see it's above the trace button in blue. So I press second, and then I press the trace key to get to the calc menu. And I can calculate a few different things. So here I want a y value from inputting an x value. So we choose the first operation, which is value. Right, so I tell the calculator the x value, which is 0, and then the calculator will give me back the y value. And so when x is equal to 0, the calculator tells me that y is equal to negative 9, which is the correct y-intercept. Right, because when x is 0, this term is 0, this term is also 0, and all I'm left with is negative 9. Okay, so that's how we calculate the y-intercept. And in actuality, the value operation can be used for any x value, right? So whatever x value you tell the calculator, it will automatically calculate the y value for you. Okay, so that's the y-intercept. And now we want the x-intercepts. So in this case, now the y value is equal to 0, and we're looking for the x value, right? So to do that, we choose the second operation here, which is 0, right? So 0 here means the y value is 0. So there's 2 points in this graph where we have an x-intercept, so here and here, and so we have to decide which one we want to calculate, because it can only calculate one at a time. Right? So say I want to calculate the one on the left, so it'll ask you a series of 3 questions. Right? So the first question is left bound. Right, so what that means, I have to take this cursor and move it slightly to the left of where the intercept is. Right, so the intercept is here, so slightly to the left would mean that the cursor should be to the left and above in this case, right, because the graph is going in this direction. Okay, so slightly to the left would be about here. And then now right bound means I have to move the cursor slightly to the right of the intercept, which in this case would be, say, somewhere down here. It doesn't have to be exact, as long as it's to the right of the intercept. And then guess should be somewhere near the intercept. And I press enter, and then it calculates as negative 0.674236, and I rounded it to 3 decimal places in this case. Okay, so that's how you calculate the x-intercept, and then you just repeat the procedure for each point that you're interested in. Right, so say I want to calculate this point, I repeat the procedure again, so second, calc, go to 0, press enter, and then now left bound. I have to move the cursor slightly to the left of the point that I want. So my intercept is here, slightly to the left would now be below the point, right? Because of the way that the graph is trending, left would be below. Okay, now right bound would be slightly above in this case, somewhere here, and then I guess somewhere here, and then it calculates it as 6.674, and y is equal to 0. So this is my other x-intercept. Okay, so that's how you calculate the y and x-intercepts for a function. In this example, I did a quadratic function, and so the graph is a parabola, but these operations for calculating the value of a function and to calculate zeros of a function, so they work for all types of functions. Okay, so I will end the video here.